Well, welcome back to the Getting Lit podcast, but also perhaps the new Mythologies podcast because I'm doing a cross post with my Substack. So you can listen to it on our feed or on New Mythologies feed as well. This week we are speaking with a really great Australian writer by the name of Lucas Smith, who is here to talk about a lot of things, but primarily his short story collection, Spare Us Yet, which was published by Wiseblood Books. Welcome, Lucas.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Great to be here.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. We had obviously you're the editor-in-chief of Bonfire Books as well.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. And so we had Jack Norman on recently, which is a wonderful kind of very Queensland core conversation between me, Jack, and Fresta. And but you've released your own collection. It was released a while ago, or a few months ago now. But having you on because, we both had a read of it and really loved it. Kind of like scratched certain itches for me, which we can talk about later.
Yeah.
But give us the sort of rundown or the elevator pitch or what is Spare Us Yet? Was there a kind of vision for the collection, or was it just you cobbled together some things that you had written at various points in your life?
Yeah, well, I suppose it is a bit of both. The first story, earliest story was written in about 2010, and then the latest one, just 2024 last year. So it really does span quite a bit of time, a bit of my writing life. But then there's a major theme, I guess, or a major theme or setting, which is COVID in Melbourne. Which we can talk about later as well. But that kind of, I guess, holds, I've heard it described as like tentpole stories, like those kind of hold the kind of thing together. But there was a lot of other stuff in it as well. It's representative of what I've been doing for the last 10 or more years. I've done other things in between, of course, but yeah.
Including, starting a publishing company, which we can
Yeah.
talk about. But in terms of your own writing, I know that you're a poet as well, that you publish poetry
Yep.
in Meanjin.
Yes. The engine was very good, very nice to me. I really
Yeah, they were good to me as well,
appreciate it.
but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. But so
Maybe we
you're
can get into that
primarily,
later too.
you're primarily
Yeah.
a poet and short story writer. Is there anything else you write or?
Yeah, I write nonfiction on my Substack. I've published reviews in like Australian Book Review, places like that. I kind of try to think of myself as I want to be good at everything. I know that's not really probably fully possible. But yeah, I've had some success with all forms, I suppose. Um, I go up and down with being a poet. Sometimes I think that's my main thing, and sometimes I think I don't have the prophetic vision that's necessary to be a real poet. But then again, I don't think I'm not, it's hard for me to identify living people who have that quality nowadays either. So, yeah, and short fiction has always come very kind of naturally to me. It's like I'm always have ideas. I'm always working on things. Um, So yeah, I don't know. I want to be good at everything, basically.
Yeah,
Everything to do with writing.
I have the same sort of secret ambition. Not so secret now because I'm broadcasting it on
Yeah.
podcasts. I
Yeah.
just want to, I have this like ambition to write in every genre.
Mm.
So like just a contemporary drama, literary thing, like all different sorts of pulp genres. I even want to write a cookbook because I can, because I'm a cook.
Oh,
That's
wow.
the real
except,
moneymaker,
yeah,
though.
that is
You should go
actually,
with that one
That would be,
first.
yeah, that's it.
I'll call it the mustachioed nonna or something like that. Yeah.
Well, that'd be great. Yeah, we have this idea. We've had this idea kicking around at Bonfire for a while about finding a really good vintage cookbook to reissue, like from the 1800s, like Australian women's cookbook. We just haven't
Oh
quite
wow.
found haven't really found the right one yet. But that's kind of an ambition of ours at some point.
It'd be very British, of course. I mean,
Yeah,
in
oh,
influence.
exactly. Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I remember I recently just binge watched Downton Abbey, and because it's
Okay.
set in Yorkshire and
Yeah,
the early 20th century, and all of the food that they're eating is just so like British, but like a bit posh, but
yeah.
it looks so nice. And I'm like, there's this stereotype that like British food is like not good or like not seasoned properly or something like that, but it all looked so tasty to me. So
Yeah.
I imagine it'd be similar to what's in that cookbook.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a bit of a canard, the idea that British cooking is bad or unsophisticated.
Mhm.
Mm.
Mm.
Do you ever watch that show Lords and Ladles? It's
No.
like a cook.
No.
My fiance watches it. I wouldn't have never heard of it otherwise. But it's like a cooking show where they make like medieval kind of like deal meals and stuff like that. So it'll be like
Like,
aspic and like
ah,
make like like they'll use like three different types of like they'll be like pigeon and whatever, and then make it like shaped like a pear, but it's like made of like mutton with like pigeon mince on the inside and like and sometimes like mixing really weird sweet things in like rose and stuff like it's like some of it sounds okay, but a lot of it's like not for me.
did they do a cockatrice?
Possibly.
When
What
they
is that?
construct like a mythical animal, like this kind of griffin-like thing out of
Oh, like a
assorted
chimera,
meats. Yeah, yeah.
may possibly
Yeah. How do we get on to talking of food? God, it's
your
like being with
cookbook.
it's like being with my Italian relatives. It's just immediately into food. Sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, the short story form, it's interesting. Like, do you ever get you're very sort of solidly in that form. I used to write a lot of them, and then I sort of just yeah, I just sort of drifted away from them. I don't know why, but like it is you kind of need to be in some ways even more disciplined than writing something a bit more long form because they have to be so like singular. It's got to be like a single idea. It doesn't have to be, of course, but like usually the best ones do have to be very kind of focused. I don't know what you think about that, but there's a real kind of craft element to it that you really need to be on it and locked in to do a really good short story.
Yeah, I think that's right. Uh, and for many of these, I put in a lot of effort and would step away for sometimes years at a time, actually, from some of them and come back. I definitely agree. I think in a way it is not that I've really ever have tried to write novels, but I think in some ways I don't want to say easier, but yeah, there's something a bit looser. You can just kind of put things down, and it's kind of easier in that sense, I think.
The reader gives you more leeway, I think, with it,
That's
which
right.
is
Yeah.
weird because there's more of it. So you don't, I don't know what psychologically happens, but like it's just in a short story, if someone is like bloviating and like wasting time, you kind of
Yeah.
get more annoyed at than if you were reading a novel and someone was just sort of like going on. I'm thinking of the Moby Dick whale area, like areas.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like there's something
Yeah.
about it that is like it's a shorter form, but maybe it is because it's shorter that yeah, people don't allow for that kind of extensive monologuing.
Yeah, and I think people do expect a payoff. Like when you read a short story, you have to have something has to happen by the end for it to be worthwhile. Um, where a novel, yeah, can be more digressive and maybe even open ended, where there's not really a full resolution, where the enjoyment is in just the journey of the reading. But in a short story, I think something has to happen, or has to be about to happen, or some kind of change in a character's mind, or something like that. You need something. I think people are reading short stories often like one at a time when they don't have much time. They might be waiting for public transport or something, or whatever, and if nothing happens, they feel shortchanged.
Yeah. Do you feel what do you feel about the short story form in general? Because it's like, people don't publish as many collections as they used to. Although in our sort of like little Substack slash Twitter scene, I guess there is more of that happening. What do you think the role of as someone who's published a collection, the role of the short story is now, when it's not, you don't have that kind of like magazine infrastructure, even literary journals now. We could use that to talk about Me Engine if you want, and then like short stories. But yeah, what do you think about it?
Yeah, well, I find that the short story to me is I love reading them. I love writing them most of the time when I don't hate writing them. And I think it's its own form, it's its own art form, and it should be appreciated as such. It's not just like a short novel or like practice for a novel or something. I think it really is its own thing. And I really appreciate people like say, for example, Borges, who never wrote anything longer than 15 pages. You can be a great writer of the absolute first rank and only write short stories. So, yeah, that's how I feel about it. I think it's a unique thing, and I think it is. I think they are appreciated. It's kind of like writing a novel. It's like, I don't know. It's kind of cliched, I'm writing a novel. I'm working on my novel. But I think, yeah, the short story, they just allow you to dip in and out of so many different things, and for the writer, you can be so many different characters, so many different narrators. You can try things out. You can use so many different voices, which is something that I really enjoy, writing in a voice. And I think that's kind of the direction that I want to go, where I feel like that is one of my strengths as a writer, is kind of inhabiting these different voices. Yeah. And I guess the literary infrastructure, like it could, back in the old days, John Updike, could support a young family writing a short story every month. But obviously that's no longer the case. And I do feel as though the infrastructure for poetry is quite good. There's a lot of enthusiasm. But yeah, for literary journals, outside of the major ones, the New Yorker and what have you, like there's not a whole lot going on there in terms of, it seems more and more difficult to get short stories published. Yeah.
And it seems like, that kind of grandfathered in legacy stuff, like the New Yorker and things like that. That very much seems, when they publish a short story, it's almost an audition or a like prequel to a novel as well.
Yeah,
so like
that's
it's
right.
not, there's not that kind of like, I'm very I'm not very precious about this. I'm very populist about it. I think like it would be great, probably never going to happen again, but it would be great to have that sort of like infrastructure where you just had those magazines, like even Playboy, like did
I was just thinking that. Do they still?
Yeah, they published great short stories. I don't know if they still do, but yeah, I think it was. Didn't Playboy sort of stop publishing for a while and then came back or in a revival?
I'm not sure. I just imagine like the internet, xvideo.com or whatever, all that stuff's just no one who's buying a Playboy now, and it's just free on your phone.
It'd be funny.
You
if,
are
like,
literally doing it for the stories now.
Yeah.